Well, it had to happen. Summer is here in Arizona. We got up to 107 yesterday, and I think it's going to be right around that again today. And that kind of slows down the all-day detecting here. It's just too darn hot. And this time of year, we do a little bit of traveling here and there, even some fishing. And matter of fact, we're going to go fishing coming up this next week. A little bit up at Flagstaff before the lakes do what we call turnover here. The algae takes over, and top of the lake is pretty bad with algae in a lot of places. But it's the nature of the beast in Arizona. And we're going to get our monsoon seasons. That's going to start moving a lot of material, which will lead to more places to hunt and some good open sections of bedrock and some of the creeks and washes that wasn't shown before. So this time of year we do research, and I do a lot of research. And I'm going to mention a couple books here today that are very important. I've mentioned these before in previous videos, but a lot of people don't go all the way back to my earlier stuff. So there's some stuff I like to touch upon more than once because it's so important. And one of those things is these two books right here for hunting Arizona. Okay? And these two books run around 11, 12 bucks a piece and are almost the Bible of hunting gold in Arizona. Both these books were originally written by the Arizona Bureau of Mines, and you can go through them and look up, if you're a club member, for instance, GPAA or Roadrunners or Gold Fever Radio or any of the other clubs that are out there, you can look up the areas where the claims are that you're going to be visiting with these clubs and read about how the gold was found in those areas, when most of the gold was found in those areas. And the book even goes as far as to describe the gold, the size of the nuggets, the most common size nuggets, and on and on and on. And when you combine the information in these books with the information in your GPAA mining guide or Roadrunner maps, any of the maps from any of the clubs, you will quite quickly find where the gold came from, which saves a whole lot of monkeying around and trying to figure out where to start hunting. And I think that's the biggest complaint that I hear from people that are new to this, and they watch videos about what we do, and yeah, some show us digging trash. My videos pretty much show the real deal. I mean, I show you quite a bit of my trash digs along with the gold. Some people just show mostly gold digs. But none of that is really important as knowing where to go. I mean, it looks real easy in a video. And the hours of research and the time it took these guys to go out and find these areas where they're finding gold like this is oftentimes not represented, or people don't understand how much work it actually is. And a lot of guys, they start out and they want to go find people to tell them where to go find gold. Well, I'm going to tell you something, my friends. Guys aren't going to put you on spots where they're going to expect you to find a whole bunch of gold unless you got a really good friend that is teaching you how. The time and effort that goes into finding spots like that, again, is quite extensive. So if they're going to tell you about a spot, it's a spot they've hammered pretty hard, and you may be able to get a crumb if you work hard. Man, it's not about the crumbs. It's not about the crumbs. I mean, it's cool to be able to go back and get those crumbs, and I show them quite often, and they do add up, and a jar of crumbs will weigh an ounce just like a jar of bigger pieces and one big piece. But knowing where to go, where you can get into a spot and find a small handful of nuggets in a day, or maybe a big one, which are getting more and more rare as more and more people metal detect across the United States and the world. The big nuggets that are easy to get to are getting pretty well tagged. And though the gold will never be completely gone, it's getting harder to find. And part of the responsibility as a nugget shooter is learning where to find that on your own. I mean, it's one thing to go out and buy piles of detectors, and it's not the detector that finds the gold, though, is the problem. I mean, heck, if those detectors found gold, for me. I just send them out during the day and let them bring back the gold every night. But unfortunately, you've got to get them over gold before they're going to find it for you. And that's a big part of the game. And learning how to do research is just as important as doing the research itself. And there's some off the wall books like this one here. And this roadside geology series is available for most states. And you can actually learn so much from this book just driving down the road and looking at what you're driving by and learning about it. And it's just another weapon in the pile. But learning how to do the research and where to look and how to go about learning that is a big deal. And one of my favorite books out there for doing that is this one right here. All right, this is written by Chris Ralph. And Chris is a very good friend of mine. And it's called Fistful of Gold. And in this book, he goes into detail on how to learn to do research, where golds come from, geology of gold deposits, and all this stuff is written in terms that even somebody that's not a geologist or something can understand quite well. Chris also has a YouTube channel called The Professional Prospector, or Chris Ralph Professional Prospector, I should say. And it's a very good channel, and there's a link to it over at my channel, and I'll put a link in the description on the video so you can go over there and have a look. And learning from people that teach you how to do the research to learn is probably, I don't know, the most important part for you guys that are new to this. And not knowing how to do the research leaves you sitting around when you can't go hunting or it's raining or whatnot, reading articles and stuff or watching YouTube instead of spending the time it takes to find new spots. And I'm already this time of year when it's hot like this, spending time at the computer. One of the blessings of the cyber world, along with all the curses that come with it, is Google Earth. And Google Earth now is incredible. And you can even name some placer deposits or mines, gold deposits, stuff like that, and Google Earth will take you right to it. And you can look at it from above. You can actually see tailings piles. You can see disturbances in the ground. And what I like to do is look up the bigger, well-known placer areas. And then I start looking in the outskirts of those areas on Google Earth. And I look for old trails and roads. And it's a little more difficult than it used to be looking at trails and following them, because the quads now and the UTVs are out there blazing new trails all the time, and it makes it kind of confusing when you're trying to, you know, back in the old days when you saw a trail or something on a map or online, most times it was from miners. That's how they got out to where they were mining. Now there's so much recreation that a lot of these trails go to nowhere, just buzzing around to ride. And then dirt bikes got a lot of trails out here now. When I first came to this San Domingo area, there was very few roads out here, and all the roads were used by placer miners and hard rock miners to get to and from the mines and whatnot. And as a result of all that recreation, a lot of things have changed. So yeah, it is what it is. But anyway, it's research time for me, and I know a lot of spots in the last 30 years of going, and a lot of these spots are well-known placer areas like San Domingo, Quartzsite, Gold Basin, places like that. And people have gone there for years. And one of the funniest things I ever hear from people is, well, that area is hunted out. Well, if the area is as big as my yard, it may be close to hunted out. But guys, we're out there with coils. Okay, some of these coils might be big. I mean, they're on the GPZ, you get some big ones and stuff like that. But in reality, you're out there on miles and miles and square miles of land that have gold and good potential for metal detecting. How are you going to cover all that land, even with 1,000 people with coils that big around? It's just impossible to do. Now, over the years, like I said, a lot of the bigger, easy stuff's gone. But there's still a lot of big stuff out there, and there's a lot of stuff that's not so easy. Most people don't want to get back into the bush too far. They want to stay near roads. They want to be comfortable. Unfortunately, nugget hunting is not one of the most comfortable and easygoing pastimes a person can pick. We work hard, and we climb hills, we go through brush, we bleed, we get our knees skinned up, hurt our backs. I mean, it's a hard gig, and plus on top of that, we're strapped into all this material. It's a lot of fun just out there with the gold monster or a gold bug or something like that, where you just got one lightweight little detector. It makes it a lot easier than carrying a backpack and a 5 or 6 pound detector around all day hunting gold. And that's what we do. So doing the research and knowing you're going into a spot that's going to have potential is a really good idea. And if you don't know all the spots in Arizona and other places, having these books and looking them up on Google Earth, finding the club claims that are there, and then looking around and finding areas that aren't on club claims is a lot of fun, and it can pay off very well. Okay, so what if you end up on somebody else's claim after all your research? Number one, you do your research, you get out there, you find out somebody else's claim. You got a couple of options. You can get a hold of the person and say, hey, could I metal detect out there a little bit? I'll split the gold with you and tell you where I find most of my stuff. Or you could just kind of move on and find a spot that's not claimed there. Now, there are programs online that you can use, Minecache, My Lands Matter, and other programs out there. And that's his Arizona Mines Online, Gold Mines Online, something like that. There's a bunch of them out there that you can look and see if claims are active or inactive. And one of the best ones out there is My Lands for the People. I never get this right. Let's see if it's on here. My Land Matters. I believe that's what it's called. My Lands Matter. My Land Matters, and you can find them online. And the owner of that site is actually on my forum as well, and it's a very helpful site, and it's probably one of the most accurate ones out there. And it's free. I mean, you can donate, which most of us do because there's so much information on there that it's well worth putting a donation in to keep him going. He does a lot of work for us. So this time of year, this is what I do. And we're going to take some trips. We're going to go to northern Nevada, up by Ely, and hunt up there a little bit. I'm going to try to make it over to hunt with Chris Ralph a little bit in California. And we're going to try to hit some of the cooler areas around here for a little hunting and fishing. And of course, we'll take you along like always. And I'm going to do some more work here in the office and help you guys learn how to learn to find gold. And that's a lot of learning. And come fall, Tammy and I will be going back out to the Johnson mine. It's just too darn hot out there right now. And hopefully we'll get better access out there, and we're going to get out there and actually do some work. So that'll be a lot of fun too this fall. And that bumpy back road is just almost too much. So hopefully we can get better access in there. But right now, my friends, I hope these books will help you. You need to get them. And this one especially, the Roadside Geology books, and Chris Ralph's Fistful of Gold. And we will go into some other books and stuff coming up here, and I'm going to go over a whole new series on learning to do research, because I think that's the most important part of what we do, is learning to find your own gold instead of following other people around and hoping to get the scraps they leave. Okay? And once you learn to get into new places and you're not scared to go out there and get skunked, heck, you get skunked in places well known that people take you, right? And if you're getting skunked in new places, sooner or later you're going to walk into a wash and you're not going to get skunked, and you're going to go home with a handful of gold going, wow, I did this on my own. And that's worth $1 million, my friends. So for now, if you want to learn, you like these videos, and you like tagging along with us on gold hunting trips and maybe a little fishing and stuff, like, subscribe, and ring that bell. For now, Nugget Shooter out.